Bree is not what it used to be. I grew up in this town. I have seen it change, and not for the better. There have always been different kinds of folk living here. Rich and poor, dwarves, men and hobbits. There are people who come here on travels or as refugees from the north, and there are people who have lived here for generations. Nonetheless, when I was a lad, the cutthroats and brigands of Shetwood stayed clear of the roads and villages. The town watch was lazy and the nobles were kinder. Nowadays, things are not as good. The patrons in the pony talk of brigands plotting and scheming inside of the city walls. Just some months ago, our chat was sacked by bandits, and there are rumors spreading amongst the townsfolk of a red witch and a dark minions, planning their operations from some secret sanctuary among some Bree hinterlands. I'm not a complainer though, because life could always be worse. At least I live inside the walls. Elmek is my name, just Elmek. The simple folk have no use for those fancy names like Breton or Bregian or whatever they like to call themselves. Since there isn't much to do when you're unemployed and live in Beggar's Alley, I've decided to keep a journal. Even though a poem and story might not be as interesting as one might wish, nevertheless, the nobles would be surprised if they knew of the stories a man like me could tell. My father lived in Beggar's Alley all his life. He was an assistant in a shoemaker's shop for almost 40 years. Ironically enough, he never owned a pair of shoes. I have a pair though. My old man left them for me. They were his last gift, bought from his savings. He died 6 winters ago. It was colder than it had been for a millennia. The snow was piled up 5 feet tall, completely blocking off the roads. At night we could hear the howling of both winds and wolves. Many of us died that winter. It has been a long time since I last had a job. I walked down at the stables shoveling horse shit, but the stable master sold his horses to another man, and I don't think he liked me very much, because I lost my job shortly after. Every day at morning I go out into the city, to the richer quarters, and beg passerbys for coin. Most often I make only just enough to get some food in my stomach that day. Some days I go hungry. Once in a while bakers and farmers are kind enough to give me something expired that they can't very much sell. Today was such a day. After quickly bellowing the rock-hard bread, I walked around the inn square, trying to get some of the townsfolk to talk to me and perhaps toss me some copper scraps. Most of them wouldn't even look at me. Some even spat at me. A plump hobbit told me Bree would be far better off without my kind. Even though I'd like to think that things like that doesn't bother me, it really does. I proceeded inside the pony to see if someone amongst the many travelers staying there would give me something. He was pretty much the same here, until I happened upon a man in a black robe and a fine hauberk, who actually gave me some coin. At first sight he didn't seem too happy about it.
Maybe I'll learn a thing or two next time, but I'm a sucker for poverty.
Whenever somebody actually agrees to talk to me, I try to make the best of it. So I try to keep the conversation going by asking him, "Are you here on travels, my lord, or is Bree as much a home for you as it is for me?" "I'm here looking for work, actually. My payload has been quite dull as of late." "Ah, I've been there, my lord," I told him. "Too often. If you're looking for work, I'm afraid it's not easy here. The streets are overflown with folk like me, and there are far too few jobs." "I'm a sellsword," he clarified, "so the more people, the better." "Ah, you come to the right place then. Many lords and other fine folk that need serving. You should try the house Bregan. Word on the street is their pockets are overflowing with gold." The man looked at me for a couple of seconds, then grinned slightly. "You seem like a useful man to know. I'm sure your knowledge about the streets would prove useful for someone willing to pay." I definitely liked where this was going now, so I replied, "You're a fine judge of people, my lord. People like me have a talent for passing by unnoticed. You see and hear a lot of things living on the street. It would be smart to get to know some beggars. They would tell you a lot of secrets. But tell me, my lord, where are you from?" "I'm from Gondor," he told me. "The name's Endir. And yourself?" "I see, my lord. My name is Elmek. Just Elmek," I told him. "I have lived here all my life." "Well, Elmek, it's very nice to meet you, and good to have a warm welcome and thriving conversation the first few moments of being a Bree. Maybe you and I could help each other out in the future. Aye, my lord Andy. Doesn't sound impossible. A man like me is always happy to make new friends. No need to address me with a title. I'm no lord, and titles make my skin crawl. But yes, having friends in different places has its uses. If you need me to do something for you, just let me know. You're a good enough sort. Since you are being so nice to me already, Andy, I feel like I should give you a piece of advice. If you're a sellsword, you wouldn't want to sell your services to the wrong people. Look for the noble, renowned houses, and stay clear of bandits and other scum. If you wind up with those dark types like those hares of ruin, you might soon also find yourself in a cell. The town watch is not as lazy as they once were. The new captain, Thilech, is a real monster. Don't get on his bad side.
Oh, don't worry about that, my friend.
I'm already 2 steps ahead of my plans. I just need to figure out a good place to start. A man with a plan, eh? I like you already, Andy, I told him.
Thilech, eh?
Know much about him? He wondered. A beast of a man he is. At least 2 meters off the ground. Heard he killed several people on job. He patrols the streets daily. Him and a couple of his men. We can go into one of the back rooms if you like to talk privately, he told me. If you'd like. Lead the way, friend. When in one of the back rooms, Andy shut the door behind us and lit a fire. With hushed voices we continued our conversation. He offered me some coppers and silvers for further information on the town watch. Naturally, I accepted. It isn't hard learning new things in Bree, because its inhabitants love to gossip for not having anything better to do. Perhaps this man could be of use to me, as much as I was an asset to him. I would be good to know a man with a sword, and the coin certainly didn't come amiss. Sometimes I wonder if there is more to life than just surviving the harsh environment of Bree Town. I'd like to think that someday, maybe even someone like me could venture far away and see amazing things.